Welcome everyone back to the Sim Racing Show. We're going to go through loads of important sim racing updates that you need to know about, including the Nordschleife coming to Assetto Corsa Competizione, imminently Le Mans Ultimate's in here as well, EA Sports WRC, GT Revival from the people at Project Cars. That's going to be interesting. We've got Forza Motorsports and MotoGP, Gran Turismo Automobilista 2, and even a little bit of F1 Manager as well. So we're going to start off here with the Nordschleife is coming to Assetto Corsa Competizione on the 1st of April. The background, Sam, is that it was added to the SRO series, or basically the series that ACC has the esports license for.
Okay.
Added the Nordschleife, and the developers were like, oh no, this is too soon. But they've worked around the clock to add it. So it's going to be the Nürburgring 24-hour PAT DLC. Are you a fan of the Nordschleife or not? There's no judgment here in the sim racing show. Do you like the Nordschleife or not?
I get the legendary status. I've never been a fan of it. I just don't have the time or the dedication to learn all 114 corners, whatever it is.
I think it's 147 or something, or maybe that's...
Well, there you go.
But I think it's a controversial opinion. Nordschleife, very difficult to overtake, can be professional. I have done the Nürburgring 24 hours in iRacing, and I'm very proud that I've done it. It wasn't the most enjoyable experience for me. It was quite stressful to do the night stints and maintain the pace, because if you're not on the pace, you're going to be seconds off the pace. You have to push yourself all the way through. It's all blind, almost binned it a few times. But the sensation of winning at the Nordschleife in a race like that, I think, must be beyond anything else you can do in sim racing. So now in ACC, you will be able to do it. Obviously, iRacing has it as well.
Maybe it's time for me to try and put the effort in and learn it.
Let us know in the comments if you want to see Sam do the ring. So that is coming. We're going to talk about actually the value proposition about ACC and iRacing, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Let's go on to Le Mans Ultimate, because Le Mans Ultimate, very interesting game, has the official World Endurance Championship license, but basically from last year. So it has all of the hypercars and the GTUs from last year and the LMP2. Has all of the tracks from last year, like Bahrain, Algarve, Monza, Spa, Le Mans, obviously, as well. Portimao, yeah, I don't know if I confused that with Algarve there, but it's got some great circuits. I think I was a little bit harsh perhaps on the Le Mans Ultimate. Now I've relaxed a bit, thought about the value proposition. When you compare it with iRacing, $33, does it interest you, Sam, as someone who's on iRacing?
As someone who plays iRacing and never played this new game, the Le Mans Ultimate, I'm more and more tempted to play it. Every time I turn on my PC, I'm thinking, maybe. I'm getting more and more swayed by it. Everything which they seem to be doing does seem to be going in the right direction. I
think an interesting way of putting it that I haven't thought about before is that if you buy 3 tracks on iRacing, you can buy 3 tracks or you can get Le Mans Ultimate. It's basically the same price.
3 tracks for the whole game.
Yeah. So it's an interesting one. It's basically built on rFactor 2, comes with a lot of bugs from rFactor 2, but completely different force feedback model. A lot of people massively prefer it over iRacing.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot in Le Mans Ultimate and iRacing to really compare the wet weather. And I've got some thoughts on that. But
I mean, I've read nothing but good reviews about it.
Yeah, I think credit to them. The guys from Le Mans Ultimate have reached out to me and spoken with me, so it's good to get an insight their side. And yeah, hoping for good things on Le Mans Ultimate. They've just released another patch, which is why we've got this in the Sim Racing show here. And by the way, please go to simracenews.com where you can sign up to the exclusive newsletter. There's always stuff going on there, competitions and things as well. You can win things. So please do that. Leave a lightning emoji in the comments if you've done it. Let's move on to EA Sports WRC. The note from the editor here is that the update is underwhelmed. Its latest version 1.60 patch released last week, but left fans wanting more. Although the update addressed a huge number of bugs and compatibility issues, and crucially added Andreas Mikkelsen as an AI opponent. Sadly, there was no new content, and also I think a lot of the glitches remain. There's been some issues about stuttering in EA Sports WRC. It uses Unreal. I just remember this. I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
But I just remember this game launching to massive influencer hype, and I was a bit skeptical, and then it turned out it wasn't really running that well.
See, a lot of the influencers showed on YouTube, it looked amazing. It had my interest. I was like, I love rally games, like the old Dirt game. I used to love playing that. I had my interest, and then, like you're saying, you keep seeing being drip fed little bits of information. Oh, this is bugging here. This isn't working so great. And it kind of, unlike Le Mans, which is really getting my interest, this is going the complete opposite way for me.
I think it's a real shame because we remember Colin McRae Rally back in the day. Yeah. Just, oh my God. just playing on a keyboard. Like were you playing keyboard as well?
Yeah.
Like but that sensation of rallying and drifting and was incredible. And it's something that's missing from my sim racing armory is having a great rally game. People still play like Richard Burns Rally. That's an ancient game.
Oh, and Dirt.
And Dirt as well. Yeah, exactly. Dirt Rally 1, Dirt Rally 2, great games, work really well in VR. So I don't know what's going on with eSports WRC, but don't believe all the hype is the warning from this one, because sometimes people may be paid or incentivized or just get caught up in the hype, and for some reason it hasn't been a great release. Hopefully they can fix it next year if they're able to do that. Now, talking about hype, the next thing on our list is GT Revival. You might not know too much about this, Sam.
Okay.
This is from Ian Bell, who heads up Straightforward Studios. It's basically the team that made Project Cars 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
Project Cars 1 was a great game. I really enjoyed it. Sort of like a Gran Turismo Forza, but arguably a bit more on the sim side.
Okay.
Project Cars 2 went even more into that, and actually the engine they used for Automobilista 2. Then Project Cars 3 went off the rails and became based like a mobile sort of...
It's just went mental.
You couldn't pit.
Oh,
And
really?
it's a mental like casual. Like they dropped all of the sim elements.
Oh, okay.
And again, there was a lot of hype and it completely did not live up to the hype. So Ian Bell has a little bit of form here. He's also an interesting character on Twitter. He posted the video of his PA driving his Ferrari down the motorway over the speed limit, filming herself.
Random thing to
Just
post.
a really random thing to do, but he's that sort of character. So he's definitely a character.
Yeah.
And he says they're using a whole new engine for his new game, GT Revival. So he's been working with EA before on Need for Speed Shift, if you remember the Shift games. And then he did Project Cars. Now he's doing his own thing, GT Revival. He's using his own engine. And what he said exactly is that our community can expect us to take a few big leaps because we're not patching an engine that is 10 or even 20 years old. Bit of a snipe there maybe at Automobilista 2, who will go on to some news there. They've picked up the IMSA license.
Yeah, exactly. That's massive news, that is.
I think IMSA this year, like Sebring 12 Hours, was huge. It was on YouTube, free to watch. Hopefully I'm going to be working with IMSA in the future. You're going to be doing the Sebring 12 Hours, which was an IMSA race in iRacing. Yep. So what does this mean with Automobilista getting a license? I mean, are we going to see a return to sort of exclusive licenses, or is it going to be non-exclusive?
It'd be interesting to see. I mean, will it go the way which Le Mans went, where iRacing can't use the Le Mans name, essentially? Or will it be side by side, it all works, everyone's friendly, everyone's got the best of both worlds?
We'll have to see. There wasn't too much detail. It seems to be a lot of the licenses sort of naturally gravitated back to iRacing, like IndyCar, like NASCAR. I don't know what the BTCC one is doing. But yeah, we'll have to see. But GT Revival, one to keep an eye on, but I'm taking everything with quite a strong degree of salt on that one there. MotoGP 24, let us know in the comments if you're interested in MotoGP, because this show is for you, by the way. It's a completely free show we're just doing to share our love of sim racing. But the people at MotoGP are very excited that you can now do rider transfers. So I don't know. I don't know if if the ride games are better than MotoGP anyway. I don't really know. Forza Motorsport Update 6 arrived. This was a thing that was meant to change the whole game, because when Forza launched, you know, like Sam, like back in old GT games, you would get a really cheap car and you'd be like, I want to put a turbo on it. I want to change the tyres. That was part of the charm. What Forza Motorsport did when they launched the latest game is they restricted that pathway so that you could only do the upgrades they wanted in the order they wanted.
So that was the whole selling point of Forza Horizon.
That you can do whatever you want on the car.
Do whatever you want to it.
Yeah, well, so maybe Motorsport kind of like going in a different direction. But they've now, in the latest patch, Update 6, they've reversed it. You can now basically exchange credits. It's all a bit convoluted, but you can do... this is what I said they should have done at the beginning. They also had to patch the patch. There was some update issue with liveries. But Forza slowly coming back into it. Sam, I don't know what you think. You have a PC, obviously, running iRacing. Are you tempted by Forza if it's on Game Pass? Or what's your thoughts on Forza Motorsport?
I mean, I don't have Xbox, so it's out the window for me at the moment.
But you got a PC. It's on PC.
It's on PC.
I don't
think
people,
Microsoft Link, isn't it?
I don't think people... I think Forza just like... I think Forza Horizon has eaten Forza Motorsport, honestly. I think people think Forza, they think Horizon has been some great games. I don't even know what the plan is with Forza Motorsport. Like, I just think Gran Turismo just feels like such a more authentic game. But ironically, it is on PC, so people on PC can play it, but people think you can't.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Crazy, crazy, crazy world in Forza. Now you know that. Are you interested or not interested.
I'd more likely stick with Gran Turismo out of the two.
Yeah. And I think that's sentiment, even though Forza seems to be winning all of the Game of the Years. Getting on to Gran Turismo, I've got two things I want to talk about Gran Turismo, which is World Series is back, what was known as FIA before they lost the FIA license. I think ironically went to ACC. Is that a big deal for you?
So when I used to play sport, I used to always try to get to the FIA. There's just something always feels a bit special when you're doing like a big event.
The intro.
Yeah, the intro, the whole panning down the grid. I always tried to do them if I could, if it allowed, time allowed. I was always a massive fan of them. It's nice to do it. It's nice to compete and see how well you do against other people, not just like your dailies, but your actual proper events.
Yeah, it's a real nice community thing. I think, honestly, even just losing the FI name has taken some of the, like, prestige out of it. It might sound like a silly thing, but I feel like it has. Like, we would be chatting in our groups, like, anyone's doing FIA, how do you do an FIA?
Yeah, it was never actually World Series. It was
FIA. As
FIA.
silly as that might sound, I think that's that. So that has damaged it a bit. I was lucky enough to go to the World Series last year at Amsterdam, and it was cool to see everyone up close and see these guys race. Actually, a lot of people racing in chase cam, which is very interesting.
Really?
Yeah, but the World Series, I think personally, the main reason why I like the World Series is that you qualify in your race session, which brings me up to the daily races. The Gran Turismo daily race are getting a lot of heat. They basically had Monza as a daily race C last week. Now they put Monza as a daily race B this week.
Oh, really?
Back to back. I've loved Monza, so I'm like, yes, I couldn't race last week, but I'm going to race this week. But I don't like the idea that there's going to be people who have, particularly at Monza, sort of grinded last week. And now, yes, the times have reset, but they're going to get times.
Big advantage.
Big advantage. And I'm going to maybe go in an evening after work or something. And I'm going to like, right, am I going to start from the back or am I going to try and qualify? Maybe I should have an evening just qualifying. But I just want to go and race. And actually, ironically, Forza does that. I think Gran Turismo should stop pre-qualifying. I think it's... Yeah, I think it should be... You can practice as much as you want, obviously. That's great. But this doesn't... It's not like this. It's only Indy where you sort of pre-qualify. In real life, you don't qualify and start your qualifying like that. You go into a qualifying session like iRacing every 2 laps. So I don't know if that's a pro or a con.
I think... Obviously, you've got to have to qualify and sort it all out. But I think the hot lap, the one-time lap is what it needs to be for it.
I agree. I completely agree. I think you go in your race session, it ranks you up. It's like, great, do one-time lap, and that's going to be, it's like a super pole.
Exactly. Super pole, super heat, whatever you want to call it. Win it or bin it on that.
And we've both done super poles in karting, and it's like, when it's normally a super pole, it's your time to go, but it's like, when you're about to go, it's like, you got to go. And sometimes you're like, yes, I got that super pole because I just nailed it on that lap.
Yeah. And then you know when you haven't nailed it as well.
Yeah. Well, I want to finish off with F1 Manager because a lot of things you predicted, Sam, in the last sim racing show came true. Like create a team, choosing a livery. We went with the top 5 of things we wanted to see. I don't think any of mine came in. But F1 Manager has addressed some of the things you wanted to see. The biggest takeaway from F1 Manager is it's now a budget title. And I think that means they're actually not really going to change too much. They just want to get it out the door. It's going to be a reskin of last year. Basically same drivers, basically same teams.
I mean, they saved some money not having to take extra photos of the drivers.
Exactly. It all counts. So F1 Manager is coming out a little bit earlier, I think, than it was last year. And you can create a team. So you can now get Andretti on the grid, which is great. But that's been the Sim Racing Show for this week. Please go to simracenews.com. Let us know what you think. Make sure you subscribe. We see you in the comments, and we'll see you next time.